What's up, party people? My name is Sunny Ray. This is the Sunny Ray Show. I think we're on our second, third, I forget now, interview today. We've got a bunch more guests as well. My next guest, her name is Suzanne Bahary. For 30 years, she's has honored the animals who served and continue to serve beside us. Now she's working to give service animals the recognition they deserve, a permanent place on the National Mall. So with that said, Susan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am well. I'm well. Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Guess what? I told you I just got back from Mexico. I saw dolphins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes, they were almost like playing with us. It was amazing. And so
Oh,
I guess tell me what are you building? I'd love to start with kind of like what you're working on now. We can keep it kind of short, but we're going to come back to it obviously and spend more time on it. But can you give us kind of a high level on I thought what you were building was super interesting.
thank you. Well, I'm the founder and chair of the National Service Animals Monument and also the selected sculptor. And we are building the first national monument to honor the deeds and sacrifices of service animals or handlers throughout American history. And this project was authorized by Congress in December of 2022, so that we will get federal land to build this new national monument once we've raised the necessary funds.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations on all your success so far. Can you explain like kind of the National Service Animals Monument to someone who's never heard of it and, maybe has about 2 minutes or so?
Yeah, sure. Um, well, our animals have served alongside their handlers, people, since George Washington and his horses, all the way through to today, in so many incredible ways, whether it's been the military, law enforcement, search and rescue, guide, therapy animals, assistance animals. And they have really served us in both life changing and life saving ways. And so we haven't recognized them yet in a national way. And and millions of them have served and served millions of people. So it's a great opportunity for us to finally recognize them.
And why is that? Why haven't they been recognized if they've been such a, big part of our history?
I don't know. I really don't. Um, I will say in 1994, when I created our first war dog memorial, Always Faithful,
Hmm.
uh, uh, it it was such a novel idea at that time. No one, I was the sculptor for it, and was commissioned by, the United Doberman Club and a great hero of World War II, Dr. Putney, and wanted to remember the dogs who saved so many lives in the Pacific. And when that did hit the media, there was no other memorial, there was nothing like it. When it hit, it was just so incredibly embraced by every like media outlet. People were so interested in it, so it was very new then, and it's less new now, but people still don't understand the depth of this service and all the kinds of animals that serve in the ways that they serve. And it just keeps growing and growing, the ways in which these animals help us as humans.
Yeah, yeah. And so interesting. So you bred and showed Afghan hounds long before any monument. So what did those years teach you about kind of like the human animal bond that, still shows
Mhm.
up in your sculptures today?
Yeah. Well, I love animals and I loved my show dogs. And growing up, I showed Afghan hounds into my early 20s or mid 20s or so. And because I trained them and took care of them and traveled with them and did other things, breeding and judging, I learned a lot. And that helped me as I moved into my art, having the knowledge, the anatomy, the way these animals should look, and having the love for it, the passion, feeling that bond myself planted a seed within me that then enabled me to want to explore it further. And I would add that ever since I was a little girl, maybe 10 years old, 11 years old, uh, I always felt that dogs in particular, that was my experience with head dog, that they actually knew more and had more going on in their brains and more ability than we give them credit for. So I always had that underlying feeling and curiosity about it.
Well, I'm sure my daughters would agree because they're trying to convince me every day for us to get a dog. My wife, in fact, she used to have two Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Beautiful.
such beautiful dogs. Yeah. So someday, it's definitely not out of the question. We'll see. I was gonna say, so in 1994, Suzanne, you by the way, is it Suzanne or Susan?
It's Susan.
Susan, yeah. Okay. So Suzanne, in 1994, you created Always Faithful, the first official U.S. War Dog Memorial. How did that commission find you, and like, what did you know about war dogs going in?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I was at the National Doberman Show in San Diego, and I was exhibiting my new piece, which was a head study of a Doberman, at a booth at this big show. And I was approached by William Putney. He was the head of the War Dog Platoon in World War II. And he had this dream to remember these animals in the way they deserved. And so he saw my work and we chatted and actually he had a briefcase with all these original pieces of paper of all these dogs that served and the details about them and their names and their numbers. And I was so fascinated by this, but I had heard about this subject of war dogs several years before and was very interested. So it was so interesting that I got to meet him. Anyway, he said, the United Doberman Club is looking for an artist to create this monument, and we'd love for you to apply. I said, I certainly will. And then I was selected, which was such an incredible thing for me as a person and as an artist to be able to do that. And it opened my eyes to the incredible service that others perform for us, that put their lives in the line for the rest of us. And it also opened my eyes to the incredible bond between these World War II handlers and their dogs, because they remembered them, these World War II veterans, greatest generation, remembered them till their last breath, really. They spoke of them in their late years and said that they saved their lives. And it was so moving to see that. And they wanted to honor the dogs. They didn't want to honor themselves. So many of them came after for the 50th anniversary of the liberation of Guam to Guam and hadn't been there since they were kids. And that in itself was an amazing experience. So I could go on, but that really set the trajectory for my interest in my career, my passion for what I'm doing now, trying to honor service animals and their handlers through history. Yeah.
I was gonna say is I keep thinking like the real opportunity here is not just, I guess, honoring animals from the past, but also helping people see how service animals are still shaping lives right now, right?
Right.
So how do you usually make that feel real to someone who's never thought about it before?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, it's a very broad subject. So for one example, if you think about these military working dogs that go out on the front of the line, protecting everyone behind them, alerting to danger, saving countless lives, so that those soldiers can come home, and the impact that has that they are able to do so in battle. Um, then you think about the law enforcement canines or the horses, the mounted police, and they protect the officer. They are tremendous at protecting the officer and the communities that they serve, school children, all of us. So that's a huge impact to protect the community if there's a criminal out there, whatever the case may be. Um, and then you think about, let's go into the guide animals, which by the way can be officially a mini horse or a dog, believe it or not. And these guide animals who create such incredible opportunity for independence for those without sight, and of course other disabilities, hearing, other disabilities. um, the animals, the service animals that can detect illnesses, seizures, uh, predict that in advance, and help families, families that have children, for example, with service dogs, or veterans who come back home with PTSD. And these service animals often become their reason for living, the thing that pulled them out and brought them back to their families who felt they had lost them because they were so affected by it. I mean, so many, even the therapy animals that go into schools and go into emergency situations and help civilians and even first responders who who need some of that warmth and that they can get, or people in the hospital. A therapy dog makes a tremendous difference, and therapy horses are a huge help to those also. So there's many ways, and now the dogs are helping to detect diseases and cancer. They help us with COVID detection, and it just goes on and on. Um, in fact, we're having our Purple Poppy Awards, which honors these kinds of animals, people, and organizations. September 17th, it's open if somebody wants to come to at the National Law Enforcement Museum in Washington. And that's going to be a way to showcase uh, a lot of these. But our animal of the year, believe it or not, is an otter, a sea otter, who does recovery work in association with a handler and a dog, is able to go into murky waters and point the handler to skeletal remains that also give family such comfort. As you mentioned, the dolphins, they patrol our coasts, and so do the California sea lions. So, it's a very broad story, a very interesting story when you start to learn the story, hear about all these animals, and then it's ever growing, ever changing.
Yeah, I saw dogs in the airport. I saw dolphins in the ocean 4 days ago. So I mean, all this is hitting home. You said the Posier unveiling flipped the switch. So you realized you were probably the person who had to get this done, right, in America.
Yeah.
What does that realization feel like?
Um, well, it felt, let's see, how did it feel? I'm picturing myself at my home at my dining table with a piece of paper and a pencil, thinking, wow, I'm so inspired. Something needs to be done in the United States. And I think it just felt right. It felt natural. Um, I knew it would be a big job, but it felt like the right thing to do. And it just felt like I was supposed to do it. So I just been going for it and doing all I can with our board and advisors to make this happen, realize this. So many people want it to happen. And so we're excited. We're going in the right direction too.
And Susan, why does America need this monument now? And like, what does it say about us that it doesn't already exist?
Well, I mean, as far as what does it say, I don't know. I try to take a positive take on things, but um, there's a time for everything, and its time is, I think, certainly has come. And the important thing is that it happens, because once it's there, it'll be there for the generations. It'll be there, and it's important. It's important now because we've waited too long to recognize it. There's no time like the present to make it happen.
And there's no federal funding, right? So the whole build is private
Right.
donations. How do
Right.
you sell a monument to a donor the way, maybe a founder sells a company?
Well, we have a professional fundraising organization that's very experienced that is helping us now that we have started our to approach our capital campaign, and that's very helpful. Uh, and as a founder, I've spoken with many other founders of such national monuments in Washington, and they've been very generous and gracious and basically saying we're doing the right things, to be patient. The beginning is the hardest, and then it starts growing and building. And it's a really fascinating. It's amazing. For many years, I've watched other monuments do what we're doing and seen the process. And sometimes, it looks like, wow, are they ever going to get it off the ground? And they do somehow, and it's just so wonderful for me to think that, thank God we're in a country where anybody can have an idea and try to pursue it and get the ears and attention of our government for something like this, to where we can achieve it. So to me, that's a great statement about who we are, that we're able to pull these things together, and they're always privately done. So it always comes down to the people. Uh,
I love that. That's so beautiful. Well, what are the next 90 days about for NSAM? Like the site, the money, is it the design? What are you guys
oh,
going to be focused
yeah.
on?
Yeah, that's interesting. We have a very interesting next 90 days because, as I mentioned, in just 3 weeks, September 17th is the Purple Poppy Awards in Washington. 2 days before that, on the 15th, in one of the congressional offices, we're having an educational event for Congress members, because we currently have a bill in Congress, a second bill, that is to give us permission to be located on the National Mall Reserve. And so we're looking for support to get that bill passed. We think, and we believe that's the best place for us to tell this story. It's the thread that runs through so many of the existing monuments there, and it just hasn't been told yet. So we can fill in, we could tie it together. And there's a location adjacent to the Park Police horse stables that we think could be especially interesting to show the living examples and the monumental example side by side. So we have the legislation piece that's going on right now. The bill was already introduced in the House by Congresswoman Jen Kiggins, and has Don Davis and others co-sponsoring. And we're about to get a lead. We're looking for a lead sponsor in the Senate, and we are going to be actively pursuing that. And then always the ongoing fundraising that has to happen, and we're deeply involved in that.
So, I mean, this is a bit of a unique interview, but I do have a lot of business, leaders watching the show. So, if a business leader watching this wanted to help, like, what is the kind of single most useful thing they could do this month?
Well, I would say that if they would like to help us in any way, as perhaps advice, introductions, that would be very useful. Um, we are slowly building some more advisorships to our organization, and we certainly do need to get to the right people who want to
Su-
support our project.
Susan, are that's obviously your work, right? Behind you. Sorry, I just
Yes,
noticed that. Oh my
yes, it is.
goodness. Oh, wow. That is stunning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I kind of sometimes get lost in Zoom land and forget. But
Sorry.
wow, that is beautiful. That is
Oh,
really
thank you.
that's breathtaking. Cool. Well, I mean, Susan, that's great. I think we're good. I mean, is there anything else you want to share where people can learn more about this? What's the website? I can
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate being on. And the website is National Service Animals monument.org.
National Service
Animals with an
Monument.
S.
Oh, Monument Animals.
No, National Service Animals.
Oh, animals. Yeah, monument.
Monument.org.
.org.
And we would love to have anybody reach out to us if they want to offer time, treasure, their talent. This is for all of us. So the more people we can get involved, the better it is.
Got it. Awesome. Yeah, I know. I love your website too. You've got some great videos on there. Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you all for tuning in. And I guess just hang out for 1 minute and I'll bring this stream to an end.